Everyone, and welcome to Tribune Sports Live. He's Alan Taylor. I'm Zach Steele. And Alan, 3-0 for the week.
Yeah, good week for the east side of Birmingham. Clay Chalkville, Hewitt, Trussville, and Pinson all with victories, and it was a great weekend.
Things that stood out to you?
I think, of course, at Hewitt, I think the offense continued to do well. Defense has maybe struggled a little bit. At Clay Chalkville, it's all clicking. Everything's working. And same with Pinson. Both teams are doing real well. All
right, when we return, we'll get into the Hewitt-Trussville-Gardendale game, a 39-34 Husky victory, and we'll talk more about that in just a moment.
At Bryant Bank, we focus on you. You'll never have to worry about being just another number in the system. When you're a member of the Bryant Bank family, our Bryant Bankers will work to understand who you are, where you want to go, and how we can help you to get there. We're big believers in developing relationships with our customers, and we value friendships we make along the way. Bryant Bank provides unbeatable service and legendary results. Bryant Bank, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Well, we got the victory, and that's the most important thing. There was a chance there. I felt like we had a chance to put it away, or at least get some breathing room. I wish we would have scored right before the half, 28-7. Then we're getting the ball second half. I think it's a completely different game in the second half. But give them credit. I mean, Gardendale's a really good football team. They're going to win a lot of games this year, and it's tough to knock out a good football team. That's what they are. They kept fighting back. Our kids kept fighting back. Gave up too many big plays tonight. Still got to improve on that. But at the end of the day, we found a way to win.
We just have to keep executing. We can't give up when we're inside the 20. We have to keep pressing, and we can't let off. We have to foot on the gas the whole time. We can't get complacent with what the score is. We have to keep pressing.
All right, welcome back. And the Hewitt Huskies went on the road to take on Gardendale, a very scrappy Gardendale team, a team that's very good in 6A, made it to the quarterfinals of the state playoffs last year. Huskies escape with a 39-34 victory.
They did. You know, they had a lot of chances Friday night to put the game away, got up 21-7 midway through the second quarter, had a chance right before half to put it away and failed to score. Gardendale just kept coming back and making a game of it.
Yeah, there was no quitting the Gardendale team. They had so many opportunities really to fold, and they just never did, and it wound up coming down to an onside kick at the end.
It did. They're a good team, and you knew they weren't going to quit. And I know Coach Floyd this week's going to look back and say, man, when we have a chance to put a game away, we need to do it, because really when you look at the Trussville schedule, there's nobody on that schedule that's going to quit, and Gardendale certainly didn't quit.
Yeah, absolutely, no gimmies. All right, so the coming out party really Friday night for junior wide receiver Noah Igbenogany, and hopefully – we'll have to shorten that name somehow. Noah is a blazer, a track star, and he really showed that he can really stretch the field.
Well, in the two touchdowns he had, there was really no trick, no gimmick. He just sprinted down the field. Zach Thomas threw it, and he was behind the defender, and he called him for touchdown. I mean, it was pure speed on his part, so he really can go.
And that's a nice weapon for the Huskies to have, really, the ability to go deep and stretch the field against the defense.
Absolutely. First week, a lot of safe passes, and it was good to see the Huskies open it up this week.
All right, offensively, the Huskies, again, were clicking. They had 352 yards rushing, 60 attempts. They ran 86 plays for 557 yards.
Well, this offense is going to go. I mean, it's well designed, and I think that Coach Floyd has the players to make this offense go. It starts with the quarterback, and Zach Thomas has just played so well, both throwing the ball and running the ball. And I know there's concern about him running it too much. Can he last all season? And I remember they said the same thing about Cam Newton in 2010. And Zach Thomas is a football player. He is competitive. He is strong, and he's going to do whatever it takes to win the game.
Well, and he's a load for a high school quarterback. He's 6'2" and 215 or so. So, he can deal some punishment as well as take some.
Absolutely.
Defensively, maybe a step back for the Huskies against Gardendale. They gave up a lot of big plays in the run game and in the pass game. Maybe some missed tackles. Your thoughts on the Husky defense?
Jason Williams and Jalen Williams both played extremely well at linebacker, and so the defense did some good things. I think they were strong up front. They had some sacks. It's the big plays that's killing them right now, and that was true. That was true Friday night. Every time that the Huskies had a chance to put them away, they gave up a big play, and I think this week you're going to see Coach Griffin and the staff try to work on those big plays and trying to do something about that.
And this week, the Huskies open region play against Tuscaloosa County, who lost to Northridge in a bit of a shocker last week, 24-14.
Yeah, they're probably going to come in with a chip on their shoulder, but it was a shocker that they lost that game. But again, always a good football team. I think they'll come in here ready to play, and I think the Huskies are going to have a good week of preparation and get some of those mistakes and some of those big plays out of their system, and I think you'll see them play well.
And you remember going back to last year's game when they played over at Tuscaloosa County, the Huskies dominated that ball game in the first half and really looked to run away with it, and then all of a sudden things began to just fall to pieces in the second half with penalties, turnovers, and they wound up losing the game at the very end.
They did, and penalties killed us in that game last year. I mean, I think the Huskies just really suffered with penalties, really in several games, but that game in particular because they really played well the first half, and then penalties just ate them up the second half. So look for the Huskies to try to correct some of that, and I think you'll see them play well this week.
All right, when we come back, Clay Chalkville keeps on keeping on. We'll talk about them in just a moment.
Trussville Vision Care is now proud to offer sports vision training for athletes. This sports-specific training improves hand-eye coordination and reaction time. As a former college athlete, Dr. Steele knows how important perfect vision is to succeed on the athletic field. For athletes, 20/20 vision is not enough. Trussville Vision Care.
It was a good game. I was impressed with Minor. They treated us well when we came over here. I thought they, showed signs of being a phenomenal football team. We just really played well tonight. I was proud of our kids. Wasn't happy about the fumble, and then we had too many penalties. But I thought it was a well-played game. Two class teams, two class cities, two good schools.
Clay Chalkville went on the road to Minor last Friday night and took care of business again, winning 49-15. And Alan, same old story. They just dominate.
Well, they are. This is I've said it 3 weeks now. This is the third week. They're a great football team, and I mean offense, defense. They are really just clicking on all cylinders right now. Give the credit to Coach Hood and his staff, but he has got that team playing well.
Now this game was close for maybe a quarter or so, and then all of a sudden they hit that second gear that they often do, and they just blow the game open. Well,
the real deal they're going to have with them is just keeping them up every week. When you're that good a football team, one of the coaches, one of their deals is going to be they have got to keep this team focused and keep believing that somebody could slip up and beat them. So they've got to keep them focused in on the task at hand.
The usual suspects for Clay: Ty Pigram, 318 yards, 14 of 21 passing. Collins and Simmons again, that duo, 2 touchdowns apiece. Nico Collins, 5 catches for 64 yards. TJ Simmons, 4 catches for 162 yards. They just are amazing.
Well, it's a great quarterback, great receivers, a great running back, and you can't really key on anybody. If you cover one side, they'll throw to the other side. If you back up and play pass defense, they can run the ball. If all the receivers are covered, Pigram can run the ball. So, I mean, so many weapons on offense. They're going to be hard to defense all year.
And the Clay defense, again, impressive. The starters giving up just 9 points to Minor. They gave up a mop-up touchdown and at the very end of the ball game. But so far, this starting defense has only given up 9 points in 2 games against 2 pretty good opponents.
Absolutely, and people keep talking about this. This is a no-name defense. Well, you know, they don't really need a name. These guys are playing well. This is a good defense. Coach Hood is a defensive coach, and you know, they just keep putting up impressive numbers week after week. And again, they've played 2 pretty good football teams, and they've shut them down for the most part.
Speaking of good football teams, coming up next for Clay Chalkville, they travel on the road again. They go to Tuscaloosa to take on Hillcrest. Hillcrest defeated 7A Oak Mountain, a team that was a pretty good team in 7A last year. They beat them 31-0 Friday. Your thoughts on this?
Well,
game?
You know, Hillcrest has always got a good football team, but you know, it's early in the season, so it's hard to tell. But evidently they're strong. The Oak Mountain, supposedly another solid football team this year, and Hillcrest went up there and took care of them. So this is going to be a big test. 3rd game in a row on the road. So I know Clay Chalk will be happy to finally be back home here in a week or so. But the 3rd straight road game, and that can wear and tear on a team also. But Clay Chalkville's strong. I think they'll go down there and take care of business.
All right, when we return, we're going to talk about Pinson Valley and their victory up in Blount County last Friday night. We'll be back.
Gunnar Roy would like to invite you to visit one of their 3 stores on Deerfoot Parkway. Both Shell locations on Deerfoot offer delicious Hunt Brothers pizza, one at Highway 11 and the other at Old Springville Road, which was a BP and now has a fabulous new look customers need to see to believe. The Chevron at Happy Hollow Road features mouth-watering pop donuts that are delivered fresh each and every morning. A proud supporter of the community for more than 20 years, offering quality products at a fair price in a clean environment with friendly and efficient service, Gunnar Oil.
All right, welcome back. Pinson Valley goes on the road up into Blount County to take on Aniana, and they get out of there with a 26-7 victory. Alan, Pinson looking good for another week.
They really are, and they seem to be just getting better and better. And I think this team, that young team, as they continue to play and play well, they're going to gain more and more confidence. And I just see them getting stronger each week.
Well, this was a tight game all the way up until halftime. Pinson had to score a touchdown late in the second quarter to have a 12-7 victory going into the half, but they come out in the second half. And this stat, I had to recheck this one. Aniana ran 12 plays in the second half for 0 yards.
Well, that's unbelievable. But yeah, Pinson did get off to a slow start. But again, on the road against a good Aniana team, Aniana, you know, historically has been a strong football team, and so Pinson got off to a slow start. But they stayed with their plan. They came out the second half, and the offense began to click, and then the defense absolutely just shut Aniana down.
Well, Coach Glover was unhappy with some of the penalties that they had in this ball game, but they took advantage of some turnovers, won the special teams, and they get the victory. They travel over to Lawson Field this Friday night to take on Woodlawn. Your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, with Woodlawn, you're going to get some athletes. Woodlawn always has good athletes. They'll have some speed. They'll fly around on defense. So it'll be a tough contest for Pinson. I mean, as they go on the road again, they'll have to play their best to go to Woodlawn or to go to Lawson Field and beat Woodlawn.
All right, when we return, Eric Harris, the editor of the Trussell Tribune sports page, will be in to chat with us for a few minutes. We'll be back.
Whether you're looking to buy your first home or you're trying to sell the one you're in now and need advice from a realtor, turn to Lee Marlowe, Realty South Realtor. Contact Lee today at 205-913-9559 or visit Lee at leemarlowehomes.com.
Paul Davis Emergency Services of Northeast Birmingham helps by providing needed cleanup and restoration services. Through the appropriate tools and processes, we avoid wasting valuable time to get your property to its previous state as quickly as we possibly can. Through our experience with restoration services in Birmingham, we can determine the necessary services depending on your property and type of damage, which may include smoke and fire damage restoration, water damage restoration, wind damage restoration, and mold removal. Paul Davis, recover, reconstruct, restore. 205-687-0556.
Welcome back to Tribune Sports Live. Eric Harris, the sports editor of the Trussville Tribune, stops in. Eric, welcome.
Good to be here.
Eric, so we've seen 2 games now with Clay, Hewitt, and Pinson. We'll start with the Hewitt Huskies. Your thoughts on their first 2 games this season and where the season's headed?
I think they really look good right now. You know, this is a team that's kind of growing under a very experienced quarterback. He's doing a great job right now, Zach Thomas. And he's really a workhorse for them right now. And with him leading the way, 39-34 win over Gardendale this week. I wasn't crazy about the amount of punishment he took out there. He ran the ball a lot. He was very effective there. But I think for this team to really make a run this season, they need to take some of the mileage off of his legs.
Well, one of the things Coach Floyd talked about in the preseason was he wanted to see more of Zach Thomas through the air and less on the ground. Now, a lot of his runs aren't designed runs. He'll just kind of take off and know that he can get yardage. But you're right, he is taking a pounding. That's
right. Well, that's because he's a competitor. He's going to go out there and he's going to do whatever it takes to win the game. And that's what he did against Gardendale. Through the air, I feel like he's got a great target there in Noah Igbenogany. I'm sorry if I screwed that name up, but it doesn't really matter what his name is because he's that fast. And he's such a hard guy to cover. I mean, these high school secondaries, they're going to have a hard time keeping that guy in front of them. And he's a big play waiting to happen. And defensively, the Huskies seem to be a good bit better this year. Showed maybe some warts against Gardendale a little bit with some missed tackles. But all in all, your thoughts on the Husky defense? Well, I like what they did up front. They seemed to do a great job at the line of scrimmage. They really held their own there. It was those gash plays. It was the big explosive plays that Gardendale made throughout. Zach Cups, Gardendale's quarterback, he did a good job of kind of moving around, extending the play a little bit. And I think that Husky secondary is kind of the question right now. Got to get a little more experience there, learn a little bit. They've got a learning curve right now. But I think they'll bring it together. It's time. Right now is the time, though. You've got Tuscaloosa County coming in for the first region game of the year, and that's where they got to start it up. All right, on to Clay Chalkville. What else can you say about them? It's a team that was 15-0 last year, and maybe looking even better this year. Absolutely. This defense has really come out. They lost a lot of guys. They're replacing 9 starters on the defensive side of the ball, but those guys have really filled in just perfectly. That secondary, it's hard to say anything about this team is better than it was a year ago, but I really like that secondary. Got a lot of length back there, and it's going to be hard to complete passes against those guys. Of course, you got Ty Pigrome doing his thing at quarterback. TJ Simmons, Nico Collins, those are 2 SEC caliber receivers out wide. And they're hard to cover. I mean, and it's not just what they do out running routes. It's also what they do in the running game and short passes in the screen game, things like that. Those 2 receivers, especially TJ, he does such a great job blocking. Those are some real weapons. And one of the things we've seen Coach Hood do, throughout the years is get the ball to his playmakers. Absolutely, and they've got a lot of them to choose from. I just talked about the 2 wideouts you have out there, T.J. Simmons, Nico Collins. Then you get a guy like Brandon Berry in that backfield. He's weighted. He's a senior now. Finally, his first chance to really tote the load for this team. He's doing a great job. And then you bring in a transfer from Pinson Valley, Des Williams. Smaller, shiftier guy, but he's able to make a lot of big plays as well. And then that offensive line. It obviously starts up front, and those guys are doing a great job as well. All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. Can they repeat and go undefeated again? Absolutely. All right. Pinson Valley, we talked a little bit about, before the season started, their schedule looked, pretty daunting. So far, they've gotten through their first couple ball games, and maybe a break this week coming up against Woodlawn, but how do you think they fare in their region? Well, they've done well early. They're coming off a 26-7 win at Aniana. I like where they set up in this region. This is a tight region. You kind of have Clay Chalkville up at the top. I think then you bring in Pinson, you bring in Gardendale. Those 2 will obviously meet face to face. should be a great ball game. Then you have Huffman in there. Huffman is an improving team as well. But I really like what Pinson Valley's doing right now. They have a sophomore quarterback. It's rare to say that you have a sophomore quarterback returning as a starter. But Jackie Matthews really seems like he's grown a lot. And Torrey Hendricks in the backfield replacing Nick Gibson. He's just done a beautiful job so far. And I really like the Indians' chances right now of maybe finishing second in this region.
All right, very good. Well, Eric, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure to have you in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, when we return, Alan Taylor will be back with predictions in just a moment.
Tribune Sports Live is sponsored in part by State Senator Slade Blackwell of District 15. Senator Blackwell represents parts of Talladega, Shelby, and Jefferson counties, including the Trussville area. A former high school and college athlete, Senator Blackwell is pleased to promote our local schools and student athletes. As football season gets underway, it's time to say, Go Huskies, Go Cougars, and Go Indians. Here's to a successful and safe year for all who are involved with high school athletics in our area.
Hey guys, here is your Friday football forecast. It's going to be great weather temperature-wise for the game. We'll see a low of 68 degrees and we'll hit a high of 88. But there is a chance for rain, so you will want to carry that umbrella or rain jacket with you to the stadium. And we want to wish all of the teams the best of luck tonight.
And now it's time for Tribune Sports Live Players of the Week. Our first selection this week is Hewitt Trussville. Yes, the entire offensive line. Brant Selesky, Ben Adams, Zachary Mood, Kyle Miskelly, and Chipper Lartigue. They took the game over with a powerful push in the running game. Hewitt Trussville ran the ball 60 times for 352 yards against Gardendale. Next up is the running back from Pinson Valley High School, Torrey Hendricks. Torrey had a total of 18 carries for 78 yards, including 2 touchdowns. And now Clay Chalkville's junior wide receiver, Nico Collins. Nico caught 5 passes for 64 yards against Minor, with 2 touchdowns, which led the Cougars on to a 49-15 victory. Congratulations to our student athletes from Tribune Sports Live.
Jefferson Memorial Funeral Home and Gardens is home-owned and operated by the Seal family. I've known Eddie Seal and his son Adam for over 25 years. They're community-oriented and, more importantly, good folks who know how to take care of people in their time of need. That's how Jefferson Memorial became Trussville's funeral home and cemetery. Jefferson Memorial is located at 1591 Gadsden Highway. You can call them at 322-0543. Before your need arises, let Jefferson Memorial family take care of your family.
All right, we're back, and it's prediction time. Alan, let's start with Hewitt taking on Tuscaloosa County.
Well, again, another tough opponent. It's at home this week. I look for the Huskies to get a few things ironed out. I think the offense is going to continue to roll. Hopefully, the defense can tighten up a little bit. I'm picking the Huskies to win this one 38-21.
Well, it's a revenge game to me for the Huskies because they go over there last year. They really should have won this ball game last year. A lot of the same characters. I like the Huskies to win this one, but close, 38-34 Hewitt. Clay Chalkville on the road at Hillcrest.
Well, Clay Chalkville again. They're clicking on all cylinders. I think Hillcrest obviously showed something this past week that we didn't realize maybe they have. So I think this one might be close for a little while, maybe even through the half, but I just think Clay is too strong. I pick Clay Chalkville to win 41-24.
All right, I like Clay in this game too, but closer for the reasons that you talked about. Going on the road for the third time, letdowns. How do you stay mentally sharp after blowing everybody out? You go on the road for this first region game. I like Clay to win 45-35. Now let's talk about Pinson as they go and take on Woodlawn.
Well, again, Woodlawn's a little bit of an unknown, but Pinson seems to have it all rolling. The offense is playing well. The defense continues to play well. I really think Pinson will take care of business. I picked them 38-6.
Well, I like Pinson too in this game, and I think the key here is going to be jumping on this team early. Jump on Woodlawn early, they are likely to fold. So I like Pinson. The way they're playing defense right now, they go over and shut them out 38-0. Well, that's our show. We'll be back next week, and we'll be talking about all these region games. For Alan Taylor, I'm Zach Steele. Good night, everybody.